This isn't a competition. What we'd like in terms of outputs are loads of drawings, as sketchy as you like. We'd like you to make models, and most importantly, we'd like you to have fun. People are so used to working under commercial pressures where a developer gives them an absolute brief. To give them the freedom of a very wide brief, people are really welcome the opportunity to let the creative juices flow, I suppose.
There are almost 80 designers, artists, members of the public, members of the local authority and the Welsh Assembly Government, all looking at a really large site, which is the last site in Cardiff Bay to be developed. To bring all these people together to collaborate is really a fantastic opportunity, and it hasn't been done before on this scale.
It's good that there's that diversity, and believe me, in this room, people are coming at it from every different angle.
There's 5 frames of blocks of flats abandoned in the bay, so has the world changed so much that we need to think in a completely different way about this?
I was lucky enough to live when I was a child where Techniquest is. I remember standing on the side and seeing the last ship leaving from those green docks, and it wasn't a little ship, it was a gigantic, huge tanker where they've been doing repairs. And I thought, my God, I'd love to be that close to a ship where they can come in and go out.
It's quite funny having 4 architects in a group of 8 people though, because they do like to be here, to be honest with you. But it's more interesting to listen to the community, people from the community and what they make of it, and how they do kind of stop people trying to make some sort of grand gestures all the time. Just take you back to something sensible in the community.
This is not just about another block of flats or a new road. This is about, I suppose, a lifestyle and a way to creating a new sense of community. What I'm hoping it will do is somewhat relating to this local community, which obviously has its roots in the docks.
Once the whole development is built, you don't want that to be too much of a sort of, well, it's almost a dead end actually.
It's not really a dead end though if half of it is for like
pedestrian access there.
Pleasure purposes. So then that's not really a dead end, because that's a place that people go to get away from the traffic.
This tells you alone, us being here, being invited in here, to have to say what we got to say, where we never had it before. So we're looking forward to it. We feel positive, and if things go the way we're planning things so far, I think we'll see a lot of the community living up there.
You can actually cut them and cantilever them out as well. But also by doing the blocks in that direction, you actually get sunlight that actually comes through into it. We want to connect our site with the heart of Cardiff Bay. So we've actually made a pontoon that goes right across the actual dock, and actually a new walkway, so it links the central square with a tall building at one end, a Mermaid Quay at the end.
Be able to walk straight up, around and follow it round.
What the bay lacks nowadays is that public space. You walk 200 meters to blocks and you're done. Because there's nothing to walk to, there's nothing from where to walk to, and it's like in winter, you don't want to be there.
I used to live in the bay, in the development next to the site which has been discussed, so I've got quite a lot of experience of that area. There's a lot of apartments down there which are empty, there's not much to do, and very much a case of, you've got to walk to Tesco's to get some milk, there's nothing to do there, and it's just purely houses, there's not enough mixed use.
I genuinely believe that market of buy-to-let enclaves has gone, and hopefully we'll never go back to it.
How do you solve this problem of trying to design for a future that you don't know what it is? What we've come up with is a kind of quite a simple grid for the site, in the same way that when New York was being laid out, they didn't know what was going to happen with New York. It was done in 1810 or something, when there was only one tiny bit of Manhattan laid out, but they laid out a grid over the whole island.
The idea of the tree houses is to generate a ground floor that's protected, that is sheltered, to give you a sense of scale. And for children, that's very important.
Thank you. Just giving you the countdown.
It's a bit mind-blowing, to be honest. There's so many ideas coming forward. But that's the idea of tomorrow, of course.
Overall, there's a lot of positives in terms of things like scale, mixed use, and giving us some hints about how you humanise that, particularly like the collage here, which almost makes some of the bay architecture look respectable, that's a fantastic feat.
The first brushstroke was to generate a very strong edge towards the industrial area, but at the same time creating a public space that would enable the waterfront to be walked through. So we have lots of movements, places of staying, places of going, ramps. You would go out, you would see people moving up and down, the typical things you find in streets and piazzas, only in a sheltered way.
Arriba! Here we are. It's carnival time, isn't it? You know, fantastic spew of drawings across the wall. Fantastic. People just let it rip. It's absolutely wonderful.
Each project is an opportunity, so whatever you make of it, that's it. There's no second chance, you know. That's done. The footprint is there. You build it up, and you have it with you for what, 100 years, 60 years, until someone decides to demolish it because it's awful.
We wanted to recreate that idea of a living, working village, so that incomers would feel a part of it, but also for families, for a couple getting together and small-scale units and able to stay in that area with provision for family-friendly housing and obviously family-friendly spaces.
In one corner, you've got the adults sipping lattes and having a beer. On the other side, you've got maybe a wall for tennis. Up here, you've got kids playing five-a-side football. It might sound almost impossible, but if you go to a place like San Sebastian or little villages in Umbria or even in Christchurch, and there are some Anglo-Saxon places that actually allow kids and adults to play together.
If you're walking or you're running or you're cycling, it's really scary spaces because there's no front doors and there's loads of car ports and all this stuff, and it's scary, and I don't like it. And I think if you want people to use it and for it to be like a friendly place, you've got to have things low and you have to incorporate enough houses with front doors.
Individual front doors. There's an idea that we threw out in Cardiff Bay when we finished Lloyd George Avenue. And it's the reason why there's hardly a single two-sided modern street anywhere in the bay. And that's something that Roath Basin's got to sort out and got to provide if it wants vitality.
And this edge here then is whether it's your Berlin or Barcelona or your Cardiff grid, the idea that you would have layering of mixed use, you'd have shops, you could have around the back, you could have you would get your car fixed, you'd have garages, things that make up a neighbourhood.
I think that's a powerful idea. It's a modest ambition in some ways, but I think it could manifest itself in something which is really an extension of the bay, as some of us who are old enough would remember it. If they take the momentum that appears to have gathered over the past 2 days and drive that forward, it's probably got all sorts of benefits, not just for the development in Roath Basin, but probably for the design community in Cardiff and beyond.
We actually ignored the road in terms of any geometries, and we've set up a sort of Manhattan grid. We also thought that it could be interesting to think in terms of varying this dimension here. So that sometimes it's narrower, sometimes it's wider, because that way we can get a diversity of different blocks that can be used for different things.
A very, very stimulating experience which has made us all think and rethink about Cardiff Bay as the kind of growth area of Cardiff. And of course Cardiff is the capital of Wales. This is an absolutely critical project.
What I've really come away with is this real sense of energy and enthusiasm to do loads of work with us during the coming years, and I'm just so enthusiastic about it. Fantastic.